everybody.
Hey, it's Mark and Jeannie from Essaouira, Morocco, on our second week of transformative travel.
Yep. So we want to tell you a little bit about Essaouira, which is a super cute little port city about 3 hours west of Marrakesh, where we were last week.
Right, it's a very old harbor here, going back to the Phoenicians, 2000 BC. Currently, it has a medina built around it. It's a walled city that was built in the mid 1700s. It's in great shape, and the people here are amazing.
Yeah, so we're going to show you some pictures of this Medina. It's really interesting because the wall of the Medina and the wall of the houses, there's only about 6 feet in between them. So there's these narrow alleyways that you walk down, and pretty much every city we're seeing here in Morocco has a Medina and souks, which are the markets. You'll remember that from last week. And so walking through is just a delightful. It's like you're walking back into history.
Yeah.
It's really amazing, really beautiful.
Yes, and what else is amazing is the food here. We were told by one of our taxi drivers in Marrakesh, "Oh, you're going to love it. It's really relaxing, and the seafood is fantastic." Well, he was right. The seafood here is amazing, and there's a small fish market, and they have stands set up where you can pick out your fish, and they grill it right there over charcoal, and it comes out fresh and good. And the locals eat there, the tourists eat there. It's really a wonderful scene.
Yeah, we've been eating fish just about every day. And then also, I took a little video of tangine is basically the national dish of Morocco. And there's at least a dozen different ways you can have it. And it's this cool clay um, pot with a funnel thing on top of it. And so then they do this big reveal where you get your steaming, boiling pot of tangine with vegetables and meat. And it's just really yummy.
Yeah, it's really a healthy, great way to eat. It's also really inexpensive, so it serves us on many levels.
Yeah. And then I wanted to just talk for a minute about, you're going to notice we have cats in every single video we do. So in some places that we travel, like Latin America, there are street dogs all over the place. Well, here it's street cats,
Right.
and they kind of run the place. People love them. They make little houses for them. They feed them, they pet them, and the cats sleep wherever they like, on people's motorcycles, on pillows. Anyway, so that's why we have so many cat videos.
Yeah, so it's a wonderful place. It's been completely different from Marrakesh, and
Much more chill.
yes,
Yeah.
and a lot of tourists, a lot of French people here. We hear French all over the
So many
place.
French people, like
Hmm.
everywhere, because Morocco was a French protectorate for like 40 years. And so French, there's three official languages in Morocco. It's obviously Arabic, and then Berber, which is the second language. It's interesting. It sort of looks like Greek, and then French. So that's pretty much what everybody speaks.
So we want to run through some of our favorite things that we've done and then some of the big takeaways that we've had because we really have had an amazing time here, relaxing, emptying out,
Yeah.
and really connecting.
Yep. Oh, so what was your favorite thing?
Well, my favorite thing that we did was I've never rented a quad ATM before. And so this was the time that we went ahead and rented quad ATMs. And we went with a local outfit. It was great. They had like brand new units. And the guy that we worked with, Marwan, was a young guy, 24 years old, local guy. And he took us on a tour. And it was great because there were these big sand dunes that go down to the beach. And so our tour included going through forests of this argon tree, a lot of juniper trees, and then coming over the dunes and then down into the ocean. And we just had this great, really fun ride. And Jeannie was like the little speedster out there.
I'm like, faster, faster. And then
Yeah.
and then we kept getting stuck in the dunes like 3 times because
Yeah.
when you it's just loose sand, right? Think about walking through loose sand. So when you go up, if you don't have enough speed, anyway, we got stuck.
Marwan was great. He was
Yeah.
helping us get out and everything, right? And so it was just a lot of fun, and it really, it was fun hanging out with a 24-year-old and motocrossing around, and it was just brought me back. It was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, and a couple fun things about that. We saw wild camels. Crazy. He's like, look, and I'm like, are those wild? That was amazing. We didn't get pictures because we were flying
No.
by. And then the other cool thing is we stopped there's these shacks, like literally shacks made of sticks and garbage along the beach that fishermen live in. And so we stopped
Yeah.
and talked to this guy Mustafa,
Mm-hmm.
who had a cat named Mimi, and
Mm-hmm.
he was same age as me, 56 years old. He'd been living in that shack for 40 years, fishing and mostly, just sustaining himself off the land.
It
That was
was. It
amazing.
was great. He poured us tea. He had some nuts.
Yep.
Offered us. We just chatted.
Yep.
Saw his little digs there,
Yeah.
and just traded bits of wisdom and personal histories. And it was really a
It was
beautiful
really sweet.
connection. It was great. He was a really good guy.
Yeah. And then another fun thing we did is yesterday we actually took a public bus, which we always think is fun because we're usually the only tourists on the bus, which was the case yesterday.
Yeah.
And we went about 40 minutes down to another beach south called City. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but it's Kauki. CD.
CD Kauki is what they say. Yeah,
Kauki. Thank
Kauki.
you.
That's right.
Kauki. Okay. And there was supposed to, well, there was a shrine there, and we love sacred sites. And so we were like, oh, great, let's go see the shrine. So we get to the beach, and there's this old, rundown, I don't know what else to call it. It
Yeah,
was
beat down.
like a beat down structure that obviously had seen better days, and that was the shrine. And we were both kind of like, nah, I don't know, I'm not really feeling this. So we walked down the beach for, I don't know, maybe a mile and a half, and we saw a rock outcropping, and it had a little ruined wall at the top. And we were like, oh, this feels like the shrine,
Yeah.
right? And so we went up there, and one of our themes for the week, and actually our inspiration for the week, has really been around slowing down. And so we spent some time sitting, listening, doing a little bit of ceremony, making some offerings to this point where the rock met the water. And I'll let Mark had a little experience up there. I'll let him tell you about that.
Right. Well, it was funny because Jeannie had a dream, and she had a dream about gathering shells from the Purple Island, which is right off the coast of Essaouira. And there's a historical context to this because they had these mollusks there that have ink inside of them, and they create this beautiful color of purple. And the purple dye went all through Arabia, all through Jerusalem and the Levant and Africa. It's a very, very rare and precious dye, and it came from right there. And so Jeannie had a dream about bringing purple shells up to a sacred spot and giving an offering in that way. And so, sure enough, we're walking up to this place, and there's a purple shell right there. I grab the purple shell, bring it up, and I get the sense I really slow down, empty out, start to just see what's going to come. And sure enough, I had this really great thought about my mom, who allowed me to choose my religion. And she's really fond of saying, well, you were so young, I didn't want to put you in church or Sunday school, and I just thought it was just too much for me to choose your religion. So I always believed in you choosing your own religion. And so from that, she really created the space for me to choose what I like to call my, natural earth-based ceremonial spirituality. And in that place, I just felt such a love for my mom and her decision to allow me the space to create my own connection to spirit, my own connection to my own higher self and higher power. And I looked down, and sure enough, there's this beautiful pool in the rocks. The rocks were all sharp and jagged, and in this beautiful pool were shells, purple shells. And I just felt the presence of my mom and her wisdom and the gratitude that comes from being able to choose the way that I choose to live my spiritual life and connect with my higher power.
Mm. You know, what that reminds me of is when we travel, we do our best to witness and withhold judgment because we're in a country whose religion we don't practice. And I think for me as a woman, it's difficult to see women so covered up here. And yet we were out walking on the beach and we saw this beautiful Muslim woman dressed in white on a black horse. And she was preening for the camera. She was absolutely taking a bunch
Yeah.
of selfies and just obviously really, really into it. And it's like, oh, I don't know what's going on behind the veil, quite literally, right?
Hmm.
And so just to observe and give space and appreciate the differences across the globe as we travel is really important to us. Um, and then, in terms of slowing down, we had our first 5 days in Marrakesh, which is a very, very busy place. And we came here to Essaouira to the beach purposefully to give ourselves some space to really land. And with that space, there's been dreams that have come in.
Yeah.
There's been some inspiration around purposeful eldering and what that means in our culture, and what Mark and I are doing around really, you know, moving into our elderhood in a good way. And we actually coined an expression this week that I really like, and it was the elder gap, like gap year, but it's the elder gap.
Right. Well, we need it because we have been really pursuing our careers fervently. I mean, as an attorney, carrying the weight of other people's lives with a high level of duty. It's been a great experience, but it's also been exhausting. And so I'm so grateful that we've decided to create space, come here, and really give ourselves a chance to see what's next.
Yeah. And I think part of this reflection for me has been the paradox of the corporate world that I've been working in from the outside, but all of my clients are in the corporate world. And, there's this way that they talk about work life balance, and I see very few organizations actually able to pull that off because most people are salaried and they're working, far more than 40 hours a week, sometimes 50, 60 hours a week. And, they're trying to, how do we incorporate these leadership tools that you're
Right.
teaching us? Because I
Yeah.
don't even have time to slow down and have a coaching conversation with my employees.
Right.
And so it's been nice for me to get some distance from that world, and really see the difficulties that are inherent with our hyperachieving culture,
Hmm.
because this is not a year of hyperachieving for us. This is really a year of following our hearts and really being rather than doing as much as we normally would. So that's really the inspiration for the week, is an invitation to look at how does that show up in your life, the being versus doing, and do you have space to slow down so that your own soul can speak to you in ways that are creative and meaningful, and bring you joy.
Yeah, and the rhythms of the day. What are the rhythms of the day that emerge from that place? Here in Essaouira, people, when the sun starts to set, everyone gathers around those ramparts, those walls, because it's west facing. And, there's musicians in the square and people eating and walking around eating crepes and ice cream, and the cats are everywhere. And when the sun is setting, everyone is just hanging out.
Yeah, it's like a community event.
It is like a community
Yeah.
event. And there's electricity where everyone's excited, and everyone turns and finds a restaurant to come
Yes.
at dinner.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful rhythm that they
Yes.
have here, and it reminds me that the rhythms that we have during the day, every day, really are important.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is the wisdom from the road for this week. Tomorrow we're on a bus heading towards the capital of Morocco, Rabat, and then a train. So in 7.5 hours we'll be there. And we hope you have a great week. Thanks for tuning in. We'll
Yeah.
see you next week.
Take care.